A very warm welcome to the programme. India's top court has postponed hearings on a new citizenship law that's provoked protest and violence nationwide. The judge's decision brought more demonstrations in New Delhi. They want more details about the legislation from the government before considering a petition that won't happen until January. Well, the law makes it easier for people from Afghanistan, Bangladesh and Pakistan to gain citizenship, but it excludes Muslims. Critics say that's blatant discrimination by a government they accuse of driving a Hindu nationalist agenda. Well, 4 people have been killed in demonstrations since the law was introduced, but Prime Minister Narendra Modi is refusing to back down. Well, Supriya Sharma is executive editor of Scroll.in, an independent news website, and she joins us on Skype from Mumbai. Supriya, a very warm welcome to the programme. The government claims that this amended law only concerns undocumented migrants, and Indian Muslims, he keeps repeating, have nothing to worry about. So why is this interpretation out there that's fueling this violence and concern?
Well, it's fueling concerns because the changes in India's citizenship law come at a time when the government has announced plans to prepare a national register of citizens. Essentially, the government wants to screen all Indian citizens afresh. And it could ask people to produce documents to vouch for their citizenship, and those who are unable to do so could be declared undocumented migrants. Given the recent changes in the law, there are fears that this could leave Indian Muslims uniquely vulnerable, because members of other religious communities could still have the option of citizenship by naturalization, which has now been denied to Muslims. And it is this combination of the changes in the citizenship law alongside the government's announcement of a national register of citizens that's actually fueling intense anxiety among Indian Muslims. It's also important to remember that Indian Muslims have been feeling politically marginalized over the last few years under a Hindu nationalist government where hate crimes against them have been on the rise. The ruling party politicians have been making divisive comments. And so many believe that what we're actually now seeing is a lot of pent-up frustration, which is coming to the fore in the context of this citizenship law.
Supriya Sharma, what's your view of the response that we've seen from the courts so far?
Well, there are as many as 59 petitions filed in the Supreme Court challenging this citizenship law. But those who were expecting that the courts would step in and intervene are disappointed because, as we know, the court has basically said it won't stay the law immediately, and it has pushed this back to January, when the next hearing would take place. So this is clearly bound to leave a lot of people disappointed who were hoping that the Supreme Court of India would stand up for the basic principles that underlie the Indian Constitution, secularism and equality towards all being one of them.
And is another fear, perhaps, Supriya, not just that people are disappointed, but that violence may continue and there's no sign of these protests dying down?
Absolutely. In fact, what we're seeing is that the protests are now spreading. The protests first began in India's northeast, where local communities feared that they could get swamped by migrants from Bangladesh. We saw intense protest in the state of Assam, which led to police firing, which left 5 people dead. From there, the protests have spread. We're now seeing people in Tamil Nadu, in South India, where there's a large population of refugees who fled violence in Sri Lanka. They're now asking, why have we been kept out of this law? And most significantly, protests are spreading across Indian campuses. We've last counted as many as 60 universities and colleges have staged demonstrations, and more demonstrations are being announced.
Supriya Sharma, there, executive editor of Scroll.in. Thanks very much for joining us on the programme.
Thank you.